In this video, we are going to talk about the lead inspection report. This is a required document to be included in every audit file. We're going to talk about why we use the report, and we're also going to show some examples of what this report looks like when it's filled out. So first, to the why. If you take a close look at the summary report that comes out of the XRF gun, you'll notice it has a lot of detail about whether or not there is lead, and usually there's some indication of exactly where that is and whether it's positive or negative. But there's always been a piece of information missing, and that's a conclusion of some sort. Basically, we need to know, based on the results of your test, how is that going to affect our weatherization? If you look at the list of recommended measures, these are all the things we're going to do on the home. I need to know, based on these results, if we're going to do lead-safe weatherization on any of these measures. And that's where the lead inspection report comes in. Basically, it gives us the opportunity to identify which measures are going to require lead-safe weatherization, or if none of them will, it lets us document that as well. So this is essentially going to be a cover sheet to be put in front of that summary report that comes out of the XRF. So there are a couple of different conclusions you can come to here. There's 4 listed, and then the form itself is pretty straightforward. You're going to put the client name, the job number. You need to list the lead inspector's name. That should be typed or written legibly. And then the date the test was conducted. The year of construction. That's important because it helps us determine whether or not we have to conduct any lead testing. The testing method is always going to be an XRF, so I've just typed that in on the form. And then if you've selected any of the last 3 conclusions, you should have some sort of an attachment, and you need to indicate how many pages that attachment is so that we know whether or not we have a complete document. The first conclusion is that the home was constructed after January 1st of 1978 and no testing is required. Now, if you look at our list of documents that are required in the standard file format for the audit, you'll notice that a lead inspection report is required. This is required regardless of the age of the home. So if the home was built in 1992, well past the date when it would have required lead testing, we still want you to fill this form out, put it in the file. First thing you've done is you've indicated that you actually thought through that and you verified that it did not need any lead testing. And then also, just for convenience, you'll be able to look through this list of documents and see that you have included number 8, and you'll know that once you have all of these documents in your file, that the file will be complete. So we've tried to make that as simple as possible. I'll show you an example of what that looks like in a minute. The second conclusion is that no lead was found. The third was that lead was found, but no lead will be disturbed by weatherization. I'll show you an example of these 2, and then the last one is that lead-safe weatherization will be required on some measures. At the bottom, there's a space for any notes that you would like to add to this information, and a section to certify that the information in the report is true and accurate, and you'll notice that it's the lead inspector who is certifying that information. That lead inspector should be the auditor. They should be thinking about which measures their lead testing will affect, and they are the appropriate person to fill this out and to certify all of this information. So let's go to some examples. Example number 1 is going to be that first one where the home was constructed after 1978. All you've got to do is put the client's info here, the person that would have conducted the inspection, the year of the construction, check that box, have them sign below, and put it in the client file, and you're done. Second example is really that no lead was found, or this would also look the same if lead was found, but it's not going to disturb weatherization. Here, the home obviously was built before 1978. There should be an attachment for either one of these options. You should be including that summary report from your XRF, and you need to indicate how many pages would be attached to include that report. Again, any notes, if you have them, sign at the bottom. and then make sure you include those attachments. So in this case, there's 3 pages that consist of that summary report, and you put all those into the client file, and that's it. Same thing with the lead found, but no lead will be disturbed. Obviously, you'd have a report. The report would say, yes, there was positive results for some lead, but by simply checking this box, you're saying, even though we found lead, we're not going to disturb it, and you are verifying that you're not going to disturb it, and that's it. Third example is when you found lead. So again, the age of the home, the number of pages attached, that you found lead, and then you're going to identify where you found that lead. The easiest way to do that is to look at your list of recommended measures and identify the measure number and name. So in this case, number 9, door replacement, and number 10, low E window. Those 2 measures have lead, and you are going to be replacing them, and this agency's method for replacing will definitely disturb the paint. So they are listed here, and they should include lead-safe weatherization practices. Now, obviously, the lead-safe weatherization has additional documentation that is required. That information will go elsewhere in the client file. This piece of information, along with its attachment, should be included in the audit section of the file, and the document should be signed and put in the file. That's really the lead inspection report.